It feels like only yesterday when Australia lost that World Cup final in 2015. Though it was a tough pill to swallow against their bitter rivals the All Blacks, it gave them an opportunity to build for the future and continue to compete at the highest level. 2015 as a whole was a memorable year for the Wallabies, who earlier that year beat out the All Blacks to win their first and only rugby championship to date. To any Australian fan, this was a great season. Rugby championship winners and World Cup finalists. Surely it couldn't go downhill from here. Once a global powerhouse as two-time world champions, Australian rugby has witnessed a dramatic decline in recent years, marked by a series of setbacks both on and off the field. In this video, we explore the factors contributing to this tragic downfall, and examine the implications for the sport's future in Australia. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe, as we delve into the tragic downfall of Australian rugby. To understand why this downfall is so tragic, we have to look into the team's history. In the inaugural World Cup under their head coach Alan Jones, Australia went in confident. However, they would crash out in the semi-final to France, 26-30. They'd come so close, but could they top that? The team regrouped and went into the 1991 World Cup with a renewed attitude, which would show, absolutely dominating their pool and overcoming Ireland and the All Blacks in the quarter and semi-finals respectively. The Wallabies found themselves at a final against Northern Hemisphere rivals England at their home ground Twickenham. Against the odds, Australia would battle out to a 12-6 win and secure their first World Cup. Though they would crash out of the 1995 World Cup to England in the quarter-finals, they would return stronger. With a year until the next World Cup in 1999, the Australian Rugby Union appointed Rob McQueen. Later that year, under their new coach, Australia won both their tests over the All Blacks to gain the Bledisloe Cup. They retained the trophy in 1999, beating the All Blacks by a record 28-7 in Sydney. This put Australia in good standing for the World Cup. They went unbeaten in their pool, then overcame Wales and South Africa in the knockouts to make it to the final, where they blew away France 35-12 to win their second World Cup. The 1990s were pivotal for the Wallabies, as it put them on the map and showed the rest of the competition that they were a genuine Tier 1 side. Even though Australia failed to win the World Cup during the 2000s, they continued to compete at the highest level, winning the Tri-Nations and Bledisloe Cup for the first time in 2000. They would go on to repeat this the following year, as well as achieving their first ever series win over the British and Irish Lions. As holders of the World Cup, they would once again make it to the final in 2003, only narrowly missing out after England's Johnny Wilkinson kicked a drop goal in extra time. Though an unfortunate loss, 3 World Cup finals in 4 tournaments gave many Australian fans and players hope as they looked to bounce back. At the end of 2005, the Wallabies looked to be in decline after having just ended an all-time record test losing streak of 7. This streak led to the sacking of coach Eddie Jones, with John Connolly being named as head coach in early 2006. In their opening Tri-Nations fixture against the All Blacks, Australia would lose by 20 points, and would go on to win one of their remaining 4 matches of the tournament. The 2007 Tri-Nations wouldn't be memorable either, with 2 wins and 2 losses for the Wallabies. In the 2007 World Cup, the Wallabies went unbeaten in their pool, but crashed out to England in the quarterfinals. Following this defeat, Connolly announced he was resigning as head coach. As a result, the Wallabies appointed Robbie Deans in early 2008. The Wallabies had mixed results in the Tri-Nations series later that year. However, the Wallabies suffered the worst defeat in their history, going down 53-8 to South Africa in Johannesburg. 2009 was not a good year for the Wallabies. Though they beat the Barbarians 55-7, they would finish 3rd in the Tri-Nations with only 1 win. By the end of the year, the Wallabies had won only 7 out of 14 matches, but were still ranked 3rd in the world that year. 2010 saw improved results for the Wallabies, finishing as runners-up in the Tri-Nations, and they were ranked 2nd in the world. However, 2011 would start poorly, with a shock loss to Samoa in Sydney, but they were going to win that year's Tri-Nations series, a tournament which they hadn't won since 2001. This form was pivotal going into the 2011 World Cup, where they would finish 3rd, beating Wales in the bronze medal final, 21-18. Following the Wallabies' defeat to the British and Irish Lions in their 2013 tour, Deans resigned and was replaced by Owen McKenzie. 2014 saw mixed results for the Wallabies, winning only 2 out of 6 rugby championship matches. However, during the end-of-year tour, McKenzie led the team to 4 consecutive wins over Italy, Ireland, Scotland and Wales respectively, which was the first time Australia had done this since 2008. 2014 started with 8 consecutive wins for the Wallabies. However, in the Rugby Championship, they would then draw an embarrassing loss to Argentina. Bearing in mind they hadn't lost to Argentina since 2006. To make it even worse, this match marked Argentina's first ever win in the Rugby Championship, and as a result, head coach Mackenzie resigned and was replaced by Michael Cheika. This period was mixed for the Wallabies, with successes and embarrassing defeats, but the cracks were beginning to show, as it felt as if Australia could no longer compete at the highest level. Though 2015 was a successful season for the Wallabies, winning the Rugby Championship and beating World Cup runners-up, this marked the beginning of the downfall. 2016 went badly for the Wallabies, marking a severe downward trend in their results. This started off with the Wallabies losing all 3 matches in the test against England, and by the end of the year they only managed 6 wins in all competitions. 2017 saw little improvement, with the Wallabies losing to a weakened Scotland team. They then continued this poor form, with only 2 wins in the Rugby Championship, both coming against Argentina, and in autumn they suffered crushing losses to England and Scotland. 2018 was one of the worst years ever for Australian rugby. It began with a home series loss to Ireland for the first time since 1979, and later that year in round 3 of the Rugby Championship, they lost to Argentina at home for the first time since 1983. That autumn, Australia suffered their first defeat to Wales in 10 years, losing 9-6. The Wallabies finished 2018 having won only 4 games of their 13 tests played, which was their poorest run of results in the professional era, and their worst calendar year since 1958. 2019 was slightly better, with the Wallabies finishing above their bitter rivals the All Blacks to finish second in the Rugby Championship. However, they would crash out in the quarter-finals of the Rugby World Cup, losing to England 40-16. The following day, Cheika announced that he would resign as head coach by the end of the year. The Wallabies ended the decade placed 6th in the international rankings, a fall of 3 places from the beginning of the 2010s. 2020s can be summed up by one word: instability. Cheika was replaced by Dave Rennie. Though they looked competitive at times, the Wallabies were only able to win 1 match all year against the All Blacks 24-22. 2021 was better, with an opening win against France 23-21. They would go on to beat the Springboks and Argentina twice in the Rugby Championship. However, they would end the year poorly, failing to beat Scotland, England and Wales. In 2022, losses to Argentina and South Africa saw the Wallabies drop to their lowest ever World Rugby ranking, after losing to the All Blacks in Melbourne, as the team fell to 9th on the World Rugby rankings. The worst was yet to come, as in 2023, Eddie Jones was back for another stint as coach, and this time it would go horribly wrong, as Australia finished rock bottom in the Rugby Championship, with 0 wins. The 2023 Rugby World Cup was a disaster for the Wallabies, as they failed to make it past the group stage for the first time, losing to Fiji and Wales. Following their horrific exit, Eddie Jones resigned only 10 months into a 5-year contract. Just last month he was replaced by former All Blacks assistant coach Joe Schmidt, who will look to revitalise the squad as they head into the new season. With the Lions tour next summer and host of the next World Cup in 2027, the Wallabies need to find a way to turn things around soon before they get any worse. Well, you've made it to the end of the video. Make sure to like, share and subscribe for more of the best rugby content. Also, thanks for the support on the previous video, of France Rugby's biggest what if. Click here to watch that video now. With that all said and done, it's been your boy Rugby Central 1, and I'll see you next time.